Something was wrong. You could see it in Mark's eyes before he even said a word. The smile he gave wasn't real. Not today. Kelly glanced at him, then looked away too quickly. She was holding something back, and so was he. It wasn't about a headline or a rumor this time. It was something deeper, something personal. And as the camera kept rolling, both of them tried to pretend everything was okay. But for those watching closely, the truth was already slipping through the cracks. This wasn't just another show. Something had changed. If this moment moved you, like the video, subscribe for more updates and share your thoughts. We're with you. It started with small things. Mark began canceling meetings, skipping workouts, missing calls he used to always answer. Kelly said it was just stress, that he needed rest. But behind the scenes, she was already worried. At home, he'd sit in silence longer than usual. He wasn't sleeping much. He wasn't eating enough. And one night, as they sat on the couch, he simply said, "Something feels off." Kelly asked him to see a doctor. He shrugged. "It's probably nothing." But the next day, he agreed. Not because he believed it was serious, but because of the look on her face. The appointment was booked. Just a routine check. But in her heart, Kelly knew. This wasn't going to be routine. There was a shift in the air. And something was coming they couldn't ignore. The call came late. Kelly was already in bed, scrolling through tomorrow's show notes when Mark walked in. His face was pale. Phone still in his hand. He didn't need to say anything. She could already feel it. "They want us back at the clinic," he said softly. Not a phone call. In person. The next morning was quiet. No radio, no morning coffee. They drove in silence. Inside the room, the doctor's face said it all. He spoke gently, but every word hit harder than the last. Tests showed abnormalities. More scans were needed. And then, a word neither of them expected so soon. Diagnosis. Kelly gripped Mark's hand. He stared straight ahead. The room felt colder now. It wasn't the worst-case scenario, but it was close. Not life-ending, but life-changing. And it wouldn't go away on its own. Outside, the sun was still shining. People still rushed by. But for Kelly and Mark, everything had changed. Their world now had a before and an after, and they weren't sure what came next. That morning, the show started like any other. Kelly smiled, joked with Ryan, and welcomed the cameras. But underneath the laughter, her mind was far away. Her body was reading from the script. Her heart was still in that exam room. Then it happened. A segment about health and aging came up. Ryan read the intro. Kelly nodded, but didn't speak. Instead, her hand trembled. Her eyes dropped to the table. And her voice, usually clear, bright, cracked mid-sentence, the crew noticed. Ryan leaned in, concerned. But she kept going. Until she couldn't. There was no dramatic outburst. No shouting. Just a pause. Long and real. Then she whispered something off mic. The control room went silent. Producers looked at each other. And in that moment, everyone watching knew this wasn't part of the script. Something was wrong. And it was deeply, painfully real. As soon as the cameras cut, Kelly stood up. Not quickly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. She took off her mic, handed it to a stunned crew member, and walked off the stage. Ryan followed, but he didn't say anything. He knew. Backstage, a small group waited. Producers. Assistants. People who had worked with her for years. They all stood still. No one knew what to say. Kelly leaned against the wall, took a shaky breath, and finally whispered, "It's cancer." Her voice cracked again. Not from shock, but from having to say it out loud. From naming the thing she had been holding in her chest for days. Someone hugged her. Someone else started crying. But she didn't cry. Not yet. She just stood there. Like a woman who had been brave for too long. And was finally out of strength. That night, the house was quiet. Mark sat with their kids holding their hands. He didn't speak in medical terms. He just said, "We'll face this, together." Lola wiped her eyes. Joaquin stayed close. And Kelly, she finally let the tears come. Not in front of the world, just here, in their living room. Where she didn't have to be strong. There was no plan yet. No calendar of treatments, no perfect words to ease the fear, but there was love. And in that moment, it was enough to carry them through the silence. The diagnosis changed everything. Not just the days ahead, but the way they held each other. No longer chasing schedules, but moments. Quiet dinners. Late-night hugs. It wasn't about fear anymore. It was about presence. Whatever tomorrow held, they would face it hand in hand.